Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, David. How are you doing tonight?
Well, considering it was Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Playoffs, Western Conference Final, I'm relatively unstressed. That was to me the least stressful, or one of maybe the least stressful playoff win the Oilers have had this year in their 3-1 win over the Dallas Stars, in that they got ahead 3-0 in fairly, short order. Dallas hadn't done a lot, hadn't been that threatening initially, and the Oilers got up 3-0. And even though Dallas came on and got a lot of 5-alarm shots, they only scored with, about 5 minutes left. So it wasn't super stressful, that game. And even when Dallas scored, I really thought the Oilers were gonna crank up their defensive game and
Mostly
win.
they did.
And win. And they did. Let's just
see. No more grade A's after that, eh?
Now let's just check that make sure of that. So yeah, the grade A shots in the game, Bruce, it was very interesting. 8-8, just 8 grade A shots each, tight checking game. But the subset of 5-alarm shots were 7-1 for Dallas. And they got the last.
The one for Edmonton, I assume,
got the last 5.
Was the Nuge goal? Was the one?
Yes, the rebound goal, and right. So Dallas got in the last 23 minutes of the game, they had 5-alarm shots. So
I was more nervous than you were in those last 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Just a little. I have a long memory, and some things just don't fade away. 3-0. Oilers led Anaheim 3-0 at Anaheim in Game 5 in 2017.
Yeah.
And Anaheim, it was 3-0 right down to after the last TV timeout, and they pulled the friggin' goalie and scored 3 6-on-5 goals in a row to tie it, and then won it in double overtime. And those leave scars, man. So 3-0. My friend on Twitter, Amorphous, she wrote, "You can tell I'm an Oilers fan because no lead is safe." And I'm going, yeah, you know it. You know it. We've been too many battle scars of blown leads. I get more nervous the bigger the lead is, I got to say, up to a point. I mean, obviously, there's a certain point where it's in the bag, but it never was there tonight, in my view, until Janmark had the puck in the neutral zone with 20 seconds left. I think we're safe now.
It's interesting, Bruce.
Mostly, I thought we're going to win. We're going to win unless a disaster happens. But there's always that, Yeah.
I wasn't sniffing a disaster tonight, although there were all those 5-alarm shots. But I will say this, Bruce. In listening to the podcast before the series started from Dallas fans have exactly the same.
Oh, sure.
They have exactly the same PTSD with their team. This has been a good Dallas team for the last 20 years. And they've just been eliminated from the playoffs year after year after year. And so they're used to terrible things happening. So this isn't just the Oilers fan base. This is every fan base except the ones that win the cup. And the year they win the cup, everyone else is traumatized.
I got more scars. Not too many teams that blew a 5-0 lead in the third period out there. So I think it only ever happened once in the history of the NHL.
Not too many teams have had the greatest player in the NHL sold out from under them. So yeah, we've had our share of trauma. Okay, Bruce, this is our 2 good things, 2 bad things, 2 numbers podcast with 1 conundrum, and because it's a big Oilers win, obviously, we'll go with 2 good things each. What is your first good thing, Amundo, Bruce?
Now I'm going to give a shout out to the kid, Philip Broberg.
Yeah.
Man, did he look good out there again tonight. And he was spotted in and out. He only played 12 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah.
And something in my eye. Not that kind of something. But I'm sure happy for him. He waited a long time for this. and he's got in there, and it came in with the right attitude from the sounds of it. They quoted him as saying, I'm coming in here because the team needs me. And I worried a bit he'd have a deer in the headlights look, and that hasn't really been a problem. A couple of sort of iffy moments really early in this game, but he settled down. And the more I watch this guy, the more I think he's going to be one of these Swedish eraser type defensemen. Just makes problems go away by erasing guys, by gobbling up pucks, by getting a stick in there and chipping it out of danger, by grabbing it and doing a little tight turn and walking out with it, and nothing too spectacular, just good, strong defensive instincts and plays. And I think he's developing, and those players do take time to develop, as opposed to the hot shot offensive guys. But he did provide some very timely and useful offense tonight when he scored a goal on a 68-foot slap shot that eluded the screen of Matt Duchene and subsequently eluded the catching glove of Jake Ottinger off the post and in. Perfectly accurate shot from almost as far away as you can shoot it in the offensive zone, like right by the boards on the blue line, just about. And ding, tickles the post and goes in, and a real nice bonus. And that goal certainly made the back half of the game a lot feel a lot safer. If it had been 2-0 that whole time, they're just a shot away from pucker time again, right? And that 3-0, but obviously that was a sweet moment for him. It's totally unexpected, but shoot the puck at the net, good things happen. But it was more the other little things he was doing to erase plays and make issues go away, and the calm way that he moved the puck. And I get the sense, I've been saying all year that next year he's going to be an NHLer for sure. From what I saw down in AHL, and the fact he has no more waivers, they can't jerk him around because he is exempt from waivers. He's going to have to be on a team. It's hopefully going to be this team, or else they're going to trade him for a bundle, one of the two. And I think he's going to be a solid player for this club for quite a number of years to come, based on what I'm seeing right now under the fire of the conference finals. Hasn't played a game in a month, and you drop him into game 4 of a series like this and deliver 2 strong games in a row. So good on you, Philip Broberg.
I've been saying for a few months now that he should be in the lineup in Edmonton.
Yes.
And I said on a couple podcasts, there's now in this one, I think, before this series started, I said, if they don't play Broberg, I don't think they can win, because they don't have to beat these elite teams, these really, really good teams. And these games are all super close.
Yeah.
They need better puck moving. You can't have, like, Desharnais and Ceci are both solid defenders in their own way. They really are solid positional defenders, but they are both weak puck movers, and you can't have that. You cannot win with 2 weak puck movers playing munching minutes like those 2 guys are going to do. And so when they announced that Broberg was going in, I was really happy about that. Mm-hmm. I've been away on a cycling trip, and Bruce, thanks for filling in, and Kurt and Ira, and we had planned when the Oilers were doing so crappy. I didn't think they were going to get this far.
Little faith.
Well,
this was the faithful and for the faithful. Huh?
Sorry, guys. This was in early November, and we were trying to size up the logical time to take a holiday. Anyway,
nice time to be cycling in the mountains. I would suppose.
Well, the highway is closed at this time of year. This is why we came at this time of year, because the highway 1A, the Bow Valley Parkway, is closed, and it's just to bikes, and it's fantastic.
It's open to bikes and not to anybody else, so that's great.
Yeah,
beautiful highway too.
And Moraine, the road to Moraine Lake too.
Right.
Anyway, so I've been hoping that he would get in the lineup, and then about 2 or 3 weeks ago, Bob Stauffer was doing a summary of off-season moves that the Oilers were thinking of making, or excuse me, that Bob said might happen this summer, right, which might have a certain amount of significance to it, considering Bob's contacts with the team.
Yep.
And one of them was they might trade Broberg, and I just
I heard
what?
that too.
What?
You better get a
What?
lot back.
So listen, this changes that, Bruce. The way he's playing, he's
Yeah.
played in the last couple of games. This
Mm-hmm.
this you do not trade Philip Broberg, and because he is the rubber band man, he's Elastica. He when those guys are coming, it's so hard to get around him because
Yeah.
he's so agile on his skates, and he is so
Long.
lanky, long body, long stick. He's getting stronger, and he's able to smother attackers. I think he will be the Oilers' best one-on-one defenseman as early as next season. And yeah, I'm actually fairly confident of that if they play him.
Yeah,
And
that's
they're
a real
gonna play him.
strength of his. Like, good luck getting around him. Better pack
Yeah.
a lunch.
So it's great to see him play with, because before he's lacked confidence. And I always wanted to see him play for Paul Coffey, because I think Coffey, for that kind of defenseman who can really skate and really move the puck, he's Broberg is right now. He's Brett Kulak is such a fantastic player, and that was brilliant putting Kulak with Nurse by Coach Knobloch.
Nurse had two good games, eh?
Nurse needed to play with someone who can really skate and really move the puck. He just was desperate for that. And now he's got it, and it frees him up to do some of the stuff he can do because Kulak's always there to back him up. So anyway, Broberg reminds me a lot of Kulak, and they play a very similar game. I think, though, Broberg has a bit more size and a bit more agility on Kulak. So we might see Kulak's never been able to break into the top four in the regular season, although he's doing it now in the playoffs, which is, should be mentioned as well.
Yep.
And yeah, I just think this is fantastic because, to me, after hearing what Bob said that he might be traded, I'm so glad he got in, because I think this enables the Oilers to have a much better chance of winning
for his own team,
and much better chance of sticking with the team.
Yeah.
My good thing, Bruce, it's just one specific moment of the second power play goal. And Dallas has been successful on the PK in this series because, and I mean, although I was away, I've been doing the great game grades, the scoring chances with you online. So I've been watching the games closely and breaking them down. Dallas has been successful on the PK because they've decided to be super aggressive, and they're increasingly aggressive. And that included being really aggressive up the ice, trying to stop the Oilers from entering the Dallas zone. And I think the Oilers saw that and saw an opportunity, and they took full advantage of it. I think this was a planned play, or at least it was a plan that Evan Bouchard look for the look to headman the puck. Don't just automatically, like you're almost always do, put it back to Connor McDavid. Keep looking for that pass, and if you see it, take it. And he saw it. He whipped the puck up the ice to Draisaitl. Perfect pass, and then a perfect pass from Draisaitl, and then Nuge. So it's just yeah. So it was a beautiful, absolutely beautiful play. But I don't know if it's who thought that up, but I suspect there was pre-planning there. There was a discussion about that, and they executed it perfectly.
Yeah, well, clearly the Stars were doing something right that was messing up Edmonton's power play, because they hadn't scored a power play goal in the whole series, and then but damn burst tonight. They got one in 14 seconds in the first period, with a zone possession, and then in 16 seconds, I think it was, in the second period, where Dallas actually got the puck out and down, and you're expecting one of these, long setups. Bouchard comes out at half speed and drops it behind him, and McDavid comes tearing up. And instead, Bouch just looked up and saw Leon on the far blue line right by the boards. I mean, that had to be a 120-foot pass, 130-foot pass, because it was basically right from the goal line to the blue line, almost a 3-line pass, right on the tape. And then Draisaitl did what Draisaitl does. Had one guy going to the net, and he found the trailer, as he's so good at doing.
What
and
a
the trailer walked into the slot and rang it in off the post. Like, two great passes and a great shot. I mean, that's for a hockey purist. You got to love seeing a a play of the fundamentals executed to that high degree of skill as on that sequence.
Well, let's get to your second good thing among
Game.
Bruce, because it's part of related to that, is it not?
Well, that was going to be my number, David. So I'm going to keep in abeyance the Nuge because he did have a wonderful game. But I'll talk about him more in the number. And the second good thing, I'm going to pick just a sort of a random play that really caught my eye. This was in the first period when it was 0-0.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Evander Kane coming all the way back on a very dangerous Dallas play where they set up Jamie Benn right on the doorstep. And he wasn't even really Kane's man, but he was in the neighborhood and he saw the danger and he came back and he lifted Ben's stick and he hassled him. It looked to me like Ben was, was going to be a quick deep deke and a tap in because he was right there. And instead, Ben was officially awarded with a flub shot that missed the net because Kane basically checked it off him. Wow. And Kane got credited with nothing except by me because I saw that play. I thought, wow, that's one of the finest defensive plays I've ever seen from Evander Kane. And when you got guys like him dialed in and delivering on the defensive end of the sheet with big play, I think this wasn't the only one, but this was a particular standout because of the extreme danger of that particular play. And, the winger that came all the way back to, I thought, most likely prevent the goal. And I just was, there was high danger shots in the game, but I thought Edmonton, they didn't cheat in this game, even a little bit. They were back in numbers. After the second period, they said Dallas had 0 rush chances in the game. And they might have got one in the third. I don't know. We have them all as forecheck and cycle chances in the third as well, where Dallas was trying to storm the Bastille and Edmonton was trying to hold them off. But I remember Kane made another really nice defensive play in the first period. He made a real nice, won a battle in the offensive zone that enabled a good chance for Edmonton. And was that let me see which one that was. That was the Kulak shot early in the game where Kane won the battle and then McDavid fed Kulak. And then he wound up getting an assist by winning a faceoff, which is something he's not bad at for a guy who is not not a center. But Kane does take the odd faceoff in games. And somehow, he won the faceoff that Henrique chipped back to the point that Broberg scored on. So he even got a point out of this game and a +1. And I liked his game. It wasn't like big hits and powerful shots, but I just thought he was joined the battle and he was just working the boards hard. And the Oilers as a team kind of excelled at that because their big guys were doing the job. So I'm going to give a little shout out to guys probably off the radar for most in this particular game, but I liked what he did.
It might be his smartest game. I agree with you. Like, he can throw, like Corey Perry gave him hell for throwing that pass into the slot. He just did a better job cycling and he was in play defensively. And he did
not
come
throwing
back.
The puck away.
Yeah, he prevented Ben's. That would have been a 5-alarm shot and might well have scored. So that changes the game, that one play, and it was hugely significant. So excellent work by Evander Kane. Bruce, my second good thing is Stuart Skinner. As we said, there was 8 grade A shots each for each team, but 7 5-alarm shots for the Stars and 1 for the Oilers, just 1 for the Oilers. Nugent-Hopkins first goal on the rebound. So Stuart Skinner outdueled Jake Ottinger in this one. Yes. And I think it's at least the second time in this series that's happened. And
Yes.
I agree. The Oilers were very solid in the first half of the game defensively. There's lots of good crease plays by defenders. Cody Ceci made one, I noticed. Brett Kulak was making them regularly, where they were shutting down the opposition and Evander Kane, as you just mentioned, in the slot area. But the dam started to burst a little bit. First in the power play, and there was a great shot by great deflection by Tyler Seguin that he got in front of, and then Wyatt Johnson made a snipe shot from the slot, and on a low high pass, and he got his pad out to stop that one. Then in the third, in the first 9 minutes of the third, there was three 5-alarm shots by the Dallas Stars. One by Stankhoven. There was Matt Duchene breaking in, and there was Sam Steele had a slot one-timer as well. And he made all the big saves. The one that got by him was just a brilliant tip shot, Californian from, outside shot tipped in. It's just almost impossible. And Kulak is screening him. And
Wyatt Johnson. I said to my wife that might be the best deflection I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And then my son came up, and then he said basically the same thing. And I'm saying, well, the Oilers did get beat on the play, but not by very much. But it was only a fantastic deflection where he literally flipped his stick over and put it on its toe, caught the point shot in the middle of the blade, and of course it caught the curve of the stick and just went straight upstairs inside the post in the top corner. Just unreal. I'm not sure I've seen anybody try one quite like that, but boy, did he ever execute it. That almost made one of my good things. It was so good.
It was. Anyway, Stuart Skinner, outstanding game.
Yeah. Brilliant saves, saves, eh?
What a playoffs he's had. What a turnaround, eh? That's just when almost everyone had written him off, except maybe his own teammates and at least maybe some of them, and his coaching staff. He was like, there was some numbers quoted, like this is the worst playoff performance by Edmonton goalie or by a NHL goalie this century. That kind of thing was coming out, like the most goals allowed above expected goals, and he was just being trounced and trashed every which way but loose. But he's put together a hot streak, Bruce. We've mentioned this before. Hot and cold goalie. He's getting hot at the right time here. Knock on wood that he can stay hot, because that's what the Oilers need. What's your bad thing?
Well, he's given in 11 since he got back in the net for Game 6 against Vancouver. So he played 7 games since then, of course, because the last 2 were there, and then 5 more. 14 goals against in 7 games. And when you can give 2 goals against consistently for the Edmonton Oilers, they're going to give you 3 goals for more often than not, right? They did again tonight. Yeah. So anyway, he's been terrific. He was really dialed in tonight. He made a number of really sort of 10-bell stops, as our own analysis shows.
Indeed. Your bad thing, Bruce.
Yeah, you go first, David. I'm trying to remember what my bad thing was. I haven't got much.
There wasn't a lot of bad things, but Dylan Holloway in the third period made one play at least, there was very few mental errors by the Oilers in this game, and it's the mental errors that get me. Yeah. And they're cutting down on them. Yeah. They're a team that has been plagued by them, crushed by them, destroyed by them in the playoffs, and they've realized this, and they're all doing a much better job of thinking the game, reading the game, and executing. But in this play, they're breaking up the ice, and there's a long pass up ice that Philip Broberg reads, and he gets on his player. Mm-hmm. And there's a battle in the center ice zone, which is kind of a soft, but the Dallas player does manage to kind of shoot it into the Edmonton's end to no one in particular. And it goes right to Dylan Holloway, who's covering, as he should, for Philip Broberg, who's made this play up ice. And Holloway immediately gives the puck away to the Dallas. He tries to clear it, and so he gives it away. but there's still nothing to worry about because there's 2 Oilers back and there's 2 Dallas players attacking. There's Holloway and Ceci, and there's 2 Dallas attackers. Anyway,
Holloway and Ceci, I'm worried.
So immediately what happens is Dallas breaks in and they work a give and go play. And Holloway has already gone. Instead of sticking with his man and sticking with his check, he's decided to shoot up the ice.
I'm a forward.
I don't know what the hell he was thinking. It was such a terrible mental error on his part. And it leads to the break-in by Matt Duchene and a 5-alarm shot that Stuart Skinner stops. So just that was a bad thing. And then he follows it up. This is less bad. He on the 1 goal that got in, he was the guy whose job was to cover the point man and hopefully block that shot towards the net. And that is their job, and he failed to do that. But really, it was just the one bad play, which was really. Now he followed it up, all of that up with a great shot block, right near the end. So there's that. But man, that mental error could have really cost the Oilers because that was just 6 minutes into the period, Bruce.
Yeah.
And if Duchene cashes in, then there's a game. Because then
there's
Dallas
a lot of clock left there, isn't there?
A lot of clock left, a lot of time.
Yeah.
So Dylan Holloway is not a finished product. We've all seen what he can do, but he can't do that.
Yeah. Well, he did make a real nice kick save and a beauty on the late shot block where he didn't give up on it. He had 2 more of those tonight, and I've pointed out more than once in these podcasts that Holloway is racking up the blocks. So it's not like he's not getting involved or is shy about getting in there or putting his body at risk for that matter. But every once in a while there are the mental mistakes creep in. I mean, let's face it, he's a young and not fully mature NHL player just yet.
Yes.
And, hopefully that. I also see from him lots of more mature plays where he does sort of automatically does the right thing in terms of starting to make safe plays at the blue line and not making passes back towards his own net that get intercepted the way Fogle does, and just sometimes keep it simple and get pucks deep. Like there was a couple tonight where there was maybe a chance to take it to the net, and maybe the better play was simply chip it into the corner and either work it there for a while and work on the clock, or just simply make your change and get a fresh guy out there. So his game is growing, but there are still these lapses.
And even veterans make mistakes like that. It's this is the Oilers. Veterans have been making mistakes like this for years. So he is a young player, and hopefully he'll think about that play.
Mark Messier used to lead the NHL in rookie mistakes every season. I used to joke.
I hear it. I concur, Bruce. I noticed the same thing. All right, your bad thing. Did you find something?
Oh yeah, bad thing. I was too busy talking about your bad thing to have much of a bad thing. The camera angles in Dallas, if I can really get picky on, and the fans standing up because the puck goes to the boards, and you might as well, watch what's going on the far boards because you're never going to see that puck. And it's, I find it a difficult venue from which to watch games and follow games because I don't know, the cameras don't go all the way into the corners or what the hell it is, but it
must
seems
be
like
low
there's a
down
lot
or
of
something.
time that the puck isn't in view.
Yeah.
And lots of kind of scrambly and weird switches where just when you're getting to the key point of the play, they change to some low ice angle or something. And I found that a little bit distracting tonight, but that's a fairly not bad thing.
Sportsnet was up to its old trick. They missed a handful of face-offs as well. So that's always a little bit.
Yeah, that's an old grudge I bear.
It is, Bruce. You're the old grudger.
I wrote a post for that back when I was with Copper and Blue. So like
it's a long time ago, Bruce. Yeah.
And I actually tracked the entire game, how many face-offs I missed, and it was just ridiculous. And the closer it got to the end of a one-goal lead, seemed like the more they missed down the stretch.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, we got this replay package. Let's show you the seventh angle of this play that, didn't really amount to much. And then you hear the clash of sticks, and come on. Anyway, that's I haven't got a whole lot bad to say about the Oilers tonight. It's, I guess, the upshot of all of that, and I'll just lay another one on Sportsnet, and more specifically, I think just on the angles of the cameras in that building. They got to build some platforms for them or something to get them a little less shallow angle.
What is your number?
Now, this I can tell. I actually got a whole stack of numbers, but they're all about the same guy, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who had a fantastic game tonight. Fantastic game for the Edmonton Oilers. Nugent-Hopkins, 2 goals, 2 points, both on the power play. One by doing an absolutely fantastic job getting a stick on a puck in front of the net and getting it up, this backhand shot, but up and off the ice and inside the post on the rebound to Cash off a bush bomb from outside. And in the scramble that ensued, he was the guy that got his stick in there. So that was one goal. We talked about the other one, the perfect wrist shot off the post. So great on the power play. He played only 18:47 tonight, so a little bit below Hyman, Draisaitl, and McDavid, who were all at 20 minutes, but not even 21. Like, they were just right there. Nuge did lead the team in shifts with 25. He led the team in shorthanded ice time with 1 minute and 45 seconds. He had 3 shots on net, 6 attempts, hit 3 takeaways. Nuge had in this game 3 takeaways to lead, I think, both teams. And then on the on ice aspect of his things, when he was out there at 5-on-5, the Oilers had 23 shot attempts to 8 and 9 shots on goal to 2. So even though they sawed off that part of the game 0-0, his line, of course, with McDavid and Hyman, very good line, but they were dominant. So to me, he had an excellent game at all 3 disciplines. Of course, he's the only guy in the Oilers who's on the first unit of both the power play and the penalty kill.
Yeah.
And of course, on the first line at 5-on-5, that's a nice player to have. And when he's on top of his game, as the Nuge most definitely was in this game, that's a wonderful player. And he was, in fact, named the first star in the building, and deservedly so. I thought him, Skinner, and Bouchard were the 3 stars, and I thought they nailed it.
It's a mad love-in for Nugent-Hopkins right now in the broadcast. I have to say, I recall until about halfway through the Vancouver series, I was being pretty critical of Nuge. I don't remember
if you were
as well, but he had been playing. I think what we noticed, certainly what I noticed, was he just needed to dig in more. He needed to just be more fierce and intense in his battles. And Bruce, we are seeing it.
We're seeing all of that.
We are seeing, and it's fantastic. This game was always in Nugent-Hopkins for the playoffs. He didn't need to get pushed out of the playoffs. And that was happening against LA and early against Vancouver. And he has taken matters in his own hands, and he is just winning battle after battle after battle. So good for him.
That one in front of the net for the goal. That was a one battle is what it was. And they wound up popping the puck in the net because he won it.
Yeah, indeed. So my number is Connor McDavid's face-off total, which was 10 wins out of 12 face-offs. And I just think it was indicative of his level of battle in this game. He kept a clean sheet at even strength, making not one grade A mistake on a grade A shot against, which for Connor McDavid in this playoffs, he's had a number of defensive stumbles, major ones that have been cause of goals against. He's been up and down defensively, but he wasn't a huge offensive factor in this game. But man, was he a factor in this game, because he played outstanding two-way hockey all game long. And I'll take that game. He doesn't need to score 3 points.
They don't need to win 7-1, do they? Or
they don't.
7-5.
if he doesn't cause any goals against playing against the tough competition that he plays against, he's done his job essentially. And he did his job tonight. And I was really impressed with the maturity of his game. He's stepping up to me as a captain. And that's what the Oilers need to win the Stanley Cup, is Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl not to cause any goals against in a game. If those two guys don't, they will win the Stanley Cup. It's so long as they get decent net minding from Skinner, of course. But they're linchpins because they can, because of their tremendous talent and offensive focus. That's the way they think the game, and they've been picking up the defensive fine points over a long and painful period. McDavid gave a kind of a masterclass, I thought, in defensive play tonight. He was really, really good.
I singled him out as a good thing after the last game for some of those same reasons. Even though, again, I think he only had he had 3 assists in that game. That's right. He did collect some points in the end. But they weren't like super flashy plays, but they contributed to Edmonton goals. So there's that. But I thought when they had the lead, I liked how he played with the lead. And just not overstaying his shifts and not trying to beat guys 1-on-1 or 1-on-4 at the blue line, and just making the safe play and the smart change. And sometimes that's the way to lead the way, is you do what the whole team needs to do, and everybody can do some of those things.
It is such a mental game, hockey, because in any situation, you have to, it's should I go forward or should I go back? You have to assess the danger immediately and make the right decision. And I think the Oilers are getting much better at those assessments. I thought they won the brain game tonight. They outthought the other team, in terms of their tactics on the power play, tactics on the penalty kill, line combinations, and just the smart defensive hockey. The one major mental error by Holloway stood out so much this game because it was one of the very few of them. There wasn't that many of them. So, and McDavid's leading the way. This under Knobloch, they seem to be a team of learners, players who keep picking up aspects of the game. Their game's getting smarter all the time, and they wouldn't be here if they didn't have that kind of intelligence guiding their team, their roster selection, their tactics, and now the play on the ice as well. The hockey IQ of this team is growing exponentially, Bruce, and it's going to soon take over the universe. I hope.
They got the oldest team in the league, so you'd like to think there'd be some advantages from all that experience. And you see guys like Derek Ryan when he's in, or Perry or Henrique, really making clever plays, and not doing anything dumb, even if they're not getting much accomplished. They're not giving away stuff. It's a very welcome development.
The conundrum, Bruce, is what does Dallas have left? What do they have left? What say you, Bruce McCurdy?
Well, they had lots of push in the last 25 minutes tonight.
They did.
They were the stronger. I mean, they had obviously score effects were heavily involved, but they started to bring it late in the second, and they kept bringing it in the third. And Edmonton did well to spend a chunk of the time not in their zone. If they played the whole third period in their own zone, it would have been an eternity. But they played a lot of it in the Dallas end, even as they were, gave up a few good chances in Edmonton's end. They got lots of pride. They got good players on that team. I would expect nothing less than a super strong game from them on Sunday in Edmonton. And as I already stated, I don't want to see any more games out of Dallas because I don't like those camera angles, right? So
that's a good reason.
It's a good reason as any. So let's get it done. But in no universe, I mean, maybe you get a couple bounces early and run away with it, but they didn't run away with this game, Edmonton. But I like the chances. I think Dallas is, they're in deep against the Oilers. But boy, they got some good hard players, and even the surprising once in a while, like Joe Pavelski decking Corey Perry there with the hit, and I thought Oilers had lost Perry. That would have been my bad thing, but he somehow came back. I thought we were going to see him in a sling at the airport, like
If
they
you,
saw Tanev in The Walking Dead.
yeah. If you're doing a Dallas podcast similar to this, you might mention Joe Pavelski as a bad thing because he deked out Nurse in the slot and then he missed the
Missed the
net.
net.
And then he fanned on a great chance too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
whoa. I mean, the Oilers had some
Yeah.
chances where McLeod
No
had a
shots
great
on
slot
net for
shot.
little Joe. He's
Yeah.
starting to look at his 39 years.
He and Corey Perry are looking like kind of mirror images
He
of
played his
each other.
200th game in the playoffs tonight. He's the second active NHLer to reach that milestone, the other being Corey Perry, who's up to 208. He played his
Yeah.
200th game in the LA series. So they're both 39 years old, mind you. And they both hit the 200 playoff games mark, which is a sign of both a long and a successful NHL career. You don't play 200 playoff games playing for Toronto, right? Sorry, Leafs fans.
You sure don't. I love that. The the nasty, gratuitous shot.
Cheap shot.
Drive-by cheap shot for Bruce McCurdy. We can count for one or two of those every podcast, and there you go.
Well, I mean, to get to 200, you got to go deep into the playoffs a number of years in order to do that. And little Joe, he's never won a cup. And Dallas has got some really good older players, Ben Sagan, and Pavelski, to name three obvious ones that have never won a cup. Duchesne, another one, well into his 30s.
Yeah.
Tanev. So they got some good hard veterans, but boy, how much at a certain point you wonder, is that a little bit too many veterans? Like they got 6 guys that were born in the 80s and Edmonton has 2. I'll take that trade off at this point, Suter. Deep in the playoff series.
Yeah. I don't think they have too many veterans. Yeah. I think they could easily win this series still.
Mm-hmm. They could win it.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be easy.
Well, not easily, but they could, yeah, right. And by the way, you don't make drive-by cheap shots. I was just kidding. That's more my style. You don't do that kind of stuff.
Just factual.
There you go. Factual cheap
shots.
That's
kind of cheap shots.
You have done that. Yeah. The body slam with the factamundo. All right. I think Dallas, I love McDavid's interview after the game. They asked him the same kind of thing. And he just said, it's hard to win. Like you have to win 4 games to win the series. It's hard enough to win 1 game in a playoff series, let alone 4. Like these games are all extremely difficult and hard to win.
Both series are just wars. Every game is a war. Like the biggest, Edmonton in the last 2 series had 2-goal margin of victories without empty netters. Like I don't count empty netters when considering margin of victory because it's window dressing. So Dallas, when they won 5-3 and 3-1, they had empty netters. To me, those are 1-goal games. Oilers won in double overtime. And over on the other series, 3 games in a row went into overtime. And the other game 5 was a 1-goal game. And only the first game was like 2-0 with an empty netter. But there hasn't been a blowout on either series in the conference finals, 10 games.
Non-Blacks Oilers and the Dallas Stars were almost the same team this season in terms of goals for, goals against, and goal differential and wins. And there's just very little to choose between them. And I thought Dallas should be the favorite heading into the series because we didn't know what Stuart Skinner was going to bring. And that was just a fact of the matter. Right. But Stuart Skinner has come up big. So with him playing so well, it's not surprising it's close and the Oilers have a lead. Someone's going to have a lead after 3 games. I think it's just been an exceptionally close series. I don't think either team has an edge. And Dallas, if they get some breaks, the one thing they have to worry about is if Edmonton has figured out the power play and they continue to plot and scheme, they can execute. And if they keep coming up with ideas like the one they came up with tonight, one of the things I was thinking, Bruce, is if you had 2, like they're doing such a good job now, Dallas, but if you had like Detroit had for a while, they used to have 2 centers down low behind the goal line, Zetterberg and Datsuk. And then the way you can beat this kind of aggression that Dallas is displaying is to have these two centers. They're better able to control the puck because the net is their friend. The net's kind of like helping them out, stopping Dallas's flow, and the boards are their friend. They can control the puck down low, and then they make the pass back to, well, let's say it's Nugent, McDavid down low. Then you pass back to Draisaitl or Bush for shots. And that's how you might be able to beat them. Anyway, there's a bunch of wrinkles that the Oilers can employ, I think, too. And if the Oilers' power play is kicking, this is going to be a very difficult series for Dallas to win. And that was a good sign tonight. But maybe suddenly Dallas's power play comes to life and their penalty kill comes to life. You just never know with these things, and they're perfectly capable. That could happen.
Their penalty kill was good.
Anyone.
It took Edmonton 5 games to finally break through. Mind you, they were getting like 1 power play a game, but they weren't scoring till tonight. They went 2 for 3 in this game. And
they hated giving Edmonton that second power play, but they had no choice on Heiskanen.
Puck over glass. Yeah,
they hated to do that, but they had no choice.
Fouls, we can let fouls go, but
yeah.
Anyway, on the series, it's Edmonton's outshot them. Edmonton has 56% of the shots and 54% of the goals and 56% of the expected goals. And what do we got for high danger?
Listen, our grade A shot totals, Bruce. Our grade A shot totals are almost identical
to that. They typically
to
each other.
To each other. The two teams, and I think Dallas might have a slight edge when you factor it all in.
56% for high danger.
I think Dallas has had every bit as dangerous chance as the Oilers in this series.
Edmonton has slightly more volume, but Edmonton's also winning the percentage battle, or they're at least sawing off on the percentages, even though they're getting more shots and they're converting
those
shots.
Natural stat trick numbers, actually, that's a significant edge for Edmonton, and I'm not seeing
6%. Yeah, that's big.
Yeah, I actually don't think that's not what I'm seeing. I think it's really close for grade A shots. So
Oilers scored 8 straight goals, right, in the last 2 games.
Well, that's why I'm asking this question. Like, have the Oilers kind of solve them? Have they figured it out? And it has that.
Some people are
going to might jump to that conclusion right now. I don't see it.
I'm not going there.
Me neither.
I chastised that guy. There was that guy out in Vancouver, Taj, that was getting under a lot of people's skins, and he was saying after Vancouver won Game 5. He started looking ahead to the Dallas series for the Canucks, started scouting the Stars.
Don't do that. It's not over. This is not even close to over.
I'm thinking, boy, bad idea on
Dallas
any number of levels.
Yeah, Dallas is such a good team. The injury to Tanev really hurts them. Like, he didn't look the same tonight, and that really hurts. So
he played 19 minutes tonight. He blocked 4 more shots. The guy's a freaking warrior. He reminds me of Jason Smith.
That's a good comp, Bruce.
Yeah, and it's a good compliment in terms of, that is one gutsy player. Craig McTavish once said of Jason Smith, he has the pain threshold of a cadaver.
It's a great line.
It is a good line, and it applies, I think, pretty equally to Chris Tanev. I hate playing against that guy, but I do admire him. He's in that category of feared opponent.
And with that, Bruce, we're going to call it a night. Thank you for talking, Bruce.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.